Ladies and gentlemen, here we are again, man. It's the same gang as usual, the same pod as usual. It's Hooptalk Season 3. And we're back at it with episode 8, if I'm not mistaken. Every week I have trouble remembering what episode we're on, but I try my best to go by the GM5 um, season because we're pretty much calibrated with them. So I think it was episode 8. We had some action, or
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I had some action. I was there alone, all by my lonesome, handling things, holding it down all by myself. Just putting it out there. But yeah, let's get on to it, man. We got some GM5 talk, man. We got some ABA talk today. We got some interesting spicy stuff going on in the background that I wanted to bring up, see what you guys' opinions are, and I have an opinion of my own I'm going to share. So you guys make sure you stay tuned in all through the podcast to hear that one. You're going to see our names at some point, and we're going to get right into it. GM5 Week 8, Game 1. It's going to be our first recap of the day. One of the most exciting games of the season, shockingly enough. You would never have guessed based on the record. But if you think about it, two teams, who are in a way evenly matched, they would be the most exciting game, right? Just not in a way you would expect. But Lions versus Dream Chasers, that was the first ever. I'm going to ask, I don't know if it's the first ever triple overtime sudden death. I don't know that, but I'm going to ask. But it was the first of
It's
this
not.
season. Excuse me. You
Yeah,
haven't
it's
before?
not. I the other overtime I asked them about it, and then they spoke about another team. I think it was 2 seasons ago though.
Oh, really? Nice. So it was
I
the
don't know when
first.
it was.
It was the first of the season, at the very least. I'll say that first triple overtime, aka sudden death, where it was the first point to get scored wins the game. No clock, no nothing. So that was an exciting, and the Lions were able to take that 74-73. For those of you who have been following us during this later half of the season, you know we've been doing the Ox League. We did that twice, a little bit for their second season, and then their full first season. I mentioned that because an Ox League star made an appearance at the GM5, and hopefully he's going to continue to stay with the Lions. Trent Bryant, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
We talked about him last week. I think it was last week that we discussed the Ox League finals. If not, it was 2 weeks ago. One of those weeks we talked about the Ox League finals. We talked about Trent and what caliber talent he is, and he made an appearance for the Lions, and it made a difference. If you watch the game, which I hope you guys go and do so, right off the bat, I think he scored the first 2 points for the Lions, and had about 7 points, 9 points right off the bat in that first quarter. And stats haven't been done, but I wouldn't be surprised if he scored 30. I know Tyler. I know. I saw you watching some of the games. Is this one of the games that you got a chance to watch, or was this not one of
I
them?
didn't. I didn't, unfortunately, but like just some comments for what I know. I think that this game would have been a little bit more interesting than it was, and it was already really interesting because I will go back and watch this. Unfortunately, Kel wasn't there as well. Correct?
Correct.
Man, that sucks because I Trent's one of my favorite players in the area. Like, I mean, he could tell you eventually. I already asked him if he's interested in joining some teams that we have, or if he's doing anything else in the area because I would absolutely love that dude to be on my team. I know he's got some stuff coming up with the TBL soon, but we talked about professionals the other a couple of podcasts ago and a couple streams ago actually when we were recording the games. We talked about Zay being a pro. Trent fits that mold as well, and he showed it. He showed him being poised in the sudden death. GM5 is known for not hitting their free throws. He showed up and he hit his free throws in the most opportune time. So
Yeah.
from what I understand, that's the story of the game. I will go back and watch it. I haven't had too much time to watch that one yet.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
you.
that is a game. Oh, go ahead,
Oh,
Nas.
wait.
I was gonna say that is a game I did get to watch while at work, in passing because I gotta do my job and stuff. But that is a game I did in passing, and while watching the game, I did see some things that I really liked from the Lions with this lineup. They went with Trent kind of just being the facilitator, uh, or score whatever he decided to do. His first basket was a layup, and then he just looked like all that physicality he had in the Ox League, you guys know about. He really still brought that over with even bigger players. So I am with Tyler with him being a professional. He has the same mindset where he plays at. He scores the same way. It looks the same way, and it doesn't look forced. It looks like he really is one of those rare players that plays better with physicality. So definitely big ups to the Lions. I think it was a good win for the Lions in general. Uh, this was pretty much may potentially be the seeding for this season if these teams aren't able to get another W, especially the Dream Chasers. So this could potentially be the 8 seed right here. An
And you
early
only have
playoff
one
game.
winless team now. Only one.
Playoff intensity as well. Definitely playoff intensity. We went to triple overtime.
Yeah, I'd like to see what the Lions have to offer for the rest of the season. Adding somebody like Trent, he is that go-to scorer that we've been asking for the Lions to add. It's good that they finally done so. It's unfortunate because at this point they're 1-7, right? That's 8 games. They have what, five? I think 6 games left to go. I believe mathematically the best they can do. I think there's only five. I think it's 13 game season if I'm not mistaken. Um, that means mathematically they cannot hit 500. So they will finish the season with a losing record one way or another. And obviously that's in a world where they win every single game left, right? But I am interested to see how they end up. I think now it's a battle of how high can we seed, Other teams are struggling. We've seen Prey have a lot of ups and downs. We've seen, obviously Dream Chasers are who they're currently fighting for that last spot for the playoffs. Even City Ballers struggles. A lot of teams have struggled. City Ballers have only won 2 games. Prey, I believe, only won 2 games as well. So anything's possible. You get yourself a favorable matchup in that first round, and you use these games to build chemistry. Anything's possible. Excuse me. But I was gonna add on to what Tyler was saying. It was definitely a battle of free throws. Unfortunately, Dream Chasers lost that in a terrible way because in that sudden death, they had 2 opportunities to win it at the free throw line. Tim Carroll Jr. Was not able to convert either of his free throws, and that was heartbreaking for Dream Chasers because all he needed to do was make one. I believe the very next possession, they gave the ball to Trent. Trent played his regular aggressive physical way, got himself to a foul line, knocked down the first one. So they said it on the camera later on in the day. You might be able to hear it on the broadcast when you watch the Vipers game. Jose came up to the camera. He said, in tight games, free throws win the game. And he was yelling that at the camera because they were winning the free throw battle in a tight game at the end. And that's exactly what happens to the Lions. In a tight game where it mattered the most, free throws wins the game. In this instance, it literally won the game. And Trent basically hit a game-winning free throw. That's basically what you're going to call it in his first appearance with the Lions. So I am excited to see what the Lions bring to the table going forward. Trent is a phenomenal player. And I think the Lions have the ability to get themselves a favorable matchup in that first round. I'd say you want to try and aim for probably the 5th seed, I'd probably say. I think. I'm trying to think the teams that are ahead of them. Could they get that far? They probably couldn't, right?
If so, you got to think. And this is no order. I'll do order. NWO, OTB, Vipers, Park Legends, I think are a lock for top 4. I think we could acknowledge that. 5.
Park Legends.
Man, it is possible.
Park Legends is man, I don't know, man. There's teams that I think can beat Park Legends. I have to see the rest of their schedule because I know they don't play everybody twice.
I'm only talking about a top 4. I'm only talking about top 4 seeding. I think they've won enough already to where they're almost locked into a top 4. The other teams only won 2. Park Legends won. Oh man, Park Legends only won 4, haven't they actually?
Yeah, they're on a losing streak right now. They lost their last 2 games. They're 4-3.
They're already the 5th seed. I'm not even counting count up, and I apologize. I didn't even say count up.
Yeah, they can fight for that 5th seed. I genuinely do believe so. It's going to be hard. My thing at the end of the day is, and no disrespect to anybody, but 8, 7, or 6 is a guaranteed first round exit. I think, in my opinion. That's locked in for that's locked in for NWO, OTB, and Vipers. So you're gonna face one of them. Attendance is the only thing that can really, go in your favor. But I don't know if there's enough games left in the season for Lions to build the chemistry they need to even look close enough to something that can beat, Vipers, OTB, or NWO. That's just my honest opinion. So I think shooting for that 5th seed is the goal. 4th would be ideal, but it's the same difference, so it doesn't really matter. You're just gonna play each other regardless. So I think that's the goal. I think that's the goal for them, and shoot for that fifth seed as best as you can, and you're just gonna have to beat teams. Out of curiosity, I'm not gonna lie. Out of curiosity, I got a second to spare here. I do want to check out their what you call it, their
Okay,
schedule. I have it
I'll
up right
pull it up
now
for Park Legends or for. Oh,
for
I'll pull
Alliance.
up Lions. I'll
Yeah,
pull up Park Legends
yeah.
because that's kind of who we talked
We're
about.
talking about 5 games left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And I believe this is in order from top to bottom. Yeah, from top to bottom. So they got okay. So they have 4 games left. They have a bye week, which I believe is their first bye week. They have a bye week this week coming up. This Saturday is their bye week. They play the Vipers. That's a loss. They play Count Up. That's a potential dub. Not easy. My betting odds
It
say
depends. It depends also what the team is to look like. If Trent sticks around, then I say there's potential. Yeah.
yeah, there's potential here
I
for
don't think
sure.
Count loses to that Lions team even with Trent. So
Potential.
I,
I'm not saying that they're gonna lose. I'm just giving it
yeah,
potential.
Yeah, potentially 100% Count Up can lose this game without a shadow of a doubt. Um, no offense to Count Up, I apologize. And then NWO and Park Legends. I mean, there's only 2 potential wins there. So, I mean, that being said, I think I don't know. I don't think.
But
Uh,
wait, so Park Legends though they go against Count Up, Prey, NWO, Dream Chasers, and Alliance Perception. So they might decide at the end of the season that last game where Lions really does fall.
yeah, but the 3 of those, I think ultimately you're right. I think Park Legends is almost guaranteed to lock in that fourth seed if everything goes well for them. Because out of those five
Yeah.
games, I'd say 3 of those are wins. If I had to bet, because you said Count Up, right? I think you said Dream Chasers and you said Lions.
So
So,
I think Prey, I think Dream Chasers, and I think Lions are the team that Park Legends will win
oh, you
against.
said
I think
Prey.
Count Up and NWO is kind of that's a toss. Well, I think NWO is a loss. I'm gonna be real. I think Count Up is
Yeah.
a toss up.
Oh, so okay, so I didn't catch that. So Count Up and Prey is on their schedule for the rest of the season. Okay, so yeah, those are yeah, so that
Yeah,
they have the possibility of finishing the season 4-1, right? That's
yeah.
possible.
that's crazy.
And obviously, Count Up and Prey, I'd say, are their biggest challenges to stop that from happening. And I mean, I'm sorry, Park Legends, but you're just gonna take it out to NWO.
Yeah, they haven't lost a game yet. I'm not gonna. I'm the only team I will ever consider betting against NWO is OTB still, and that's because Mello bullies me at the end of every broadcast if I don't. So I kind of have to at this
Yeah,
point.
Melo is a menace. I found out yesterday that man is a menace.
Yeah, I only bring all this
He's
up to
hilarious.
just to say the potential that there is available to the Lions, and I started optimistic. I am now pessimistic. I am no longer, I don't have the same level of hope, but they can get into the playoffs,
Show
obviously.
us.
Yeah, exactly.
Show us.
Show
I
us.
would love to be wrong.
Yeah.
I love a lot of the players on your team. I talk very highly about them on the broadcast. Steve Stacco
Yeah,
is like one of my favorite players in the league that joined. I loved him on the Royals. Like that entire squad. Jonathan Henry, he's a great shooter, especially in the mid range. I love his shot. Like show us.
yep.
I think you guys can win. I'm not gonna say it's impossible unless it's against NWO or OTB or Vipers. Then I'm gonna say
So if it's against half the league, it's impossible, but everybody else, you got it. That's pretty much what
that's
he's
less than
saying.
half. That's less than half. That's three
Yeah.
of nine.
No, but I agree 100%.
Or
I was curious to see what their potential is there, but I mean, fight for that spot, and you never know what's gonna happen. You never know what's gonna happen, but it's a tough season to be in the GM5, man. Talent is heavy. Even those teams that are struggling, because when you look at Park Legends who haven't consistently won games, they're 4-3 right now. You look at Count Up, they're 4-3 right now. Those are two teams that are not easy to beat. Yeah, you favor
Yeah,
the teams that we talk about, the big 3 teams that we talk about. But the count up isn't easy to beat. You know what I mean? Betting
yeah,
odds are always good. Vegas is always going to favor one team, but count up and Park Legends, even them, that puts us at 5 teams that are have proven to be tough teams. And City Ballers, we're gonna get to them last, but I have a lot of good things to say about City Ballers, and that's a team that the record doesn't show
there's
it.
the bias. He didn't have good things to say last week. Somebody else is
No,
back
I've
now, and
I've
now
been
he's
no,
got good
I've
things
been
to say.
optimistic about City Ballers since the season started. I've always said that they have the ability to do it. I've always have. Listen, and
Listen, I
I
don't make the
know
rules here. I don't make the rules.
I know I've been optimistic about them this season because Phil hasn't cussed me out yet, and that means that he's been hearing my positive things every once in a while. But Either way, though, you know,
Still has him hostage.
it's a it's a top heavy league for
Put down in a
sure. But
headlock.
it's a tough year to be in the GM5. But game two of week 8 was a close game as well. Another free throw battle, a bigger deficit there.
What team is it?
Vipers versus Count
What
Up.
teams?
Oh God.
Oh,
Oh God.
the Vipers.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
NWO, get my jersey,
oh
man.
that's my team. That's my team that we're talking about. The Vipers.
Hmm.
Keep going. Go ahead. My bad. My bad for
Hmm.
interrupting.
Vipers
I'm
versus Count
biased.
Up. Another free throw battle. You can watch that game. You can see Jose come up to the camera, let the world know. In close games, free throws win the game. And I believe it was Zuldo who was at the line. Zuldo had himself a great performance, showing some flashes of last season's Zuldo, who was leading his team in scoring. Obviously, Jose has taken that mantle this season. But 5 point win for Vipers, 65-60. Uh, Finished in regulation, but it was a close game. Count up. Had a great game by Jalen Moreau. I'll say that. Jalen Moreau started right off the bat, hit some turnaround jumpers, was finishing well at the rim, which, if you guys have watched our broadcast, I tend to have some things to say about his finishing at the rim. But he finished well at the rim today. He had about 19 points, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is the game that had stats. Let me click that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jalen had 19 points, but there was just no production anywhere else, I'd say. Not enough production. And I think that's where Count Up struggles the most. I think Count Up, they're going to see it their own way. They might disagree. But Count Up just doesn't have the go to guy. They have a lot of talented players that can put points on the board and one day get hot. But a team like this needs to do it by committee. And I think that's what lost them the game is it wasn't done by committee. Because, yeah, Jalen had the most points, and then the next highest points was 10, right? So barely scratched the surface of double digits. I think they need to consistently have 3 guys that can give them anywhere from 14 to 16 points. You know what I mean? And then
With a full
possibly,
squad?
yeah, with a full squad,
Almost.
if they can have at least 3 guys that can go out there, and it doesn't have to be the same guys every night. You know what I mean? It's about playing the team basketball that's needed to get those looks for your good players. Like Brogy can get 15 points any night. You know what I mean? Even
Easy
Brendan.
15, too.
Yeah,
On
even
pick and
Brendan.
rolls.
Yeah, even Brendan has the ability to incorporate himself into the offense where he can get you a solid 12 to 15 points any night. We've seen Jalen multiple times this season has been a near 20-point scorer on occasions. Beans can get hot. They have the pieces. It's about figuring out how do we get these pieces involved consistently because we're at the point of the season where we're just not going to get that go-to guy that the podcast has been recommending to us. We're late. We're what a couple days away from the deadline, so they have to do it by committee. I think that's what lost in the game. Whereas um, Jose and Zuldo helped each other out. Jose had a slower night than what we're used to, or slower day than what we're used to, and Zuldo picked it up, especially in that fourth quarter. If you watch that game, Zuldo picked it up, started getting to the line, started hitting some threes. That second half was his half, and I mean he got them the comfortable lead that they needed to go into that final seconds and just win it at the line as many times as they could,
It's
back and forth.
another big thing about that game specifically, and I watched majority of it. Um, Count up has a habit of taking like really ill-advised threes early in the shot clock. I'm talking off like one pass, and we've talked about like getting Brandon involved more. We talked about looking at Johnny a little bit more, and they were culprits of that as well this game. Early in the shot clock, Beans is taking a deep ass three that's not really going to help the team. You're not looking for any passes, especially in a game where like Lenoris actually played pretty well. He was shooting, as well as I've ever seen him shoot so far. He was passing the ball, he was controlling the offense a little bit, and it looked pretty good. But then on the other side, this Vipers squad is so good defensively. They were creating turnovers very well. They were creating extra possessions for themselves. There were some fouls that I saw that I don't know if I would necessarily consider them fouls. They might have been some mistakes. They look like good defensive possessions to me. Um, and I think Jalen benefited a lot from like Ant Rice and Greg not being there because they don't really have the size to defend him necessarily because you're either going to put someone like Liam or Tyrell on him, and I didn't actually pay attention to defend him. I apologize, but you're either going to have one of them on him, and he's a little too quick for that, or you're going to put like Jose, either one of them on him, and I don't know if they necessarily have the frame to kind of defend Jalen. He's a bruiser, which is why he got to the line a few times as well. Um, but man, I don't know. I think the Vipers are the best defensive team in the league this year. I think how quick they are. They run a defense that's very similar to OKC, where they try to rip the ball very often. They run with it as quick as they can. Oftentimes, you'll see them like double centers once they get the ball in the post. They immediately run to that to try to stop any action, and I think that works really well for them. I think that worked really well for them this game as well.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tyler. Especially someone like Liam, just someone like Liam that makes it easier for the dub because the player is not just a mixed match. It's a big dude who is being posted up by another big dude who doesn't see the little man come and attack. So a lot of it is just stunts that they do. They go over the edge a lot. They're in a lot of passing lanes. The Vipers continuously have scored off transition buckets. That's their go-to and bread and butter is the easy layup. But you add someone like Zay, that's another dimension. You add someone like Greg who can control the offense, which wasn't there, but still shout out. I'm just saying the level, the layers they have is different, and their play style, they could adapt to anybody in that league. I'm not saying they could beat OTB in a playoff match, but I wouldn't be surprised if Keith doesn't have an easy day with the
I would
passing
say
that
they
he
could.
does.
I think
Uh,
that they could. I'm not just saying
who?
that either.
No,
The
no, no.
Vipers.
I'm saying OTB. Like, I think they would give OTB a run for their money just with their play style of defense, where they stunt, they double the post. So now you're having to rely on those shooters. But the thing about the Vipers, they close out on shooters very well as well. You have someone like Zuldo, who's just energy, just a ball of energy.
Yeah.
You have someone like Zay who's can match that, who mirrors it at times, and that shit's crazy. And then you have people like Carrio, where Carrio doesn't really play, but he's just the constant like positive reinforcement for that team. And when Liam gets into his fits, he gets Liam out of his head. Um, at first I was very skeptical, but now when I got to watch and I get to see the teams and the way they win, they changed my perception on what they can do. I can see what Nas says now too, with the fact that they can take one of these big teams out. I don't know if they can win the whole team, but they can get hot enough to take one of these big teams out. And that wouldn't shock me if someone like OTB or even NWO in the second round gets knocked. It would not shock me.
I mean, they are one of the big teams at the end of the
Hey,
day. They're 6-1. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah,
shown they've shown the ability to dominate games with blowouts. They've shown the ability to play big games that are close and
I'm bad.
require clutch moments, and they can pull through with that as well. So they've shown both sides of the spectrum. They can dominate and they can win close games, and that's literally what professional teams strive for. Is the whole season trying to prove
Yeah,
to themselves, can we win a close game and can we blow teams out? You know what I mean? Like, can we win in adversity? Can we come back? They've done that too. You know what I mean? And that's
yeah,
they've done everything you want to do to go into the postseason. Like, yeah, we can beat anybody. You know what I mean? We've been down double digits in the fourth quarter, came back to win. We've blown out teams by 20. You know, we've been toe to toe with a good team and came out on top by just doing the right thing in crunch time. So they are one of the big teams, and I think, yeah, I still stand by my take. They did lose to OTB. That's fine, sure, but I believe they have the ability to beat one of these top teams because at the end of the day, they are one of those top teams. Um, but I was gonna say something about somebody, and then I forgot. Um, Last thing I did want to say about this game, I won't dwell on it too much more. The last thing I will say about this game is Malik Moy shot 2 times the entire game. And you know, and that's a good player. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to sharing the ball. You add a player like Malik, who is a scoring capable player. You know, get him involved, get everybody involved, and teams are gonna have a hard time guarding that. Not to mention with your ability to spread the floor, you have so many good, capable shooters. You know what I mean? Like, go out there, spread the floor, attack the rim, kick the ball out, make the extra passes. That's where count up fails is those extra passes. They just want to shoot it off the first one they get. I mean, you have the space, you have the pace, you have the availability, you have the bigs, you have the rim protection, the rebounding, the defenders. All you're missing is a go-to guy, but you have all the other pieces other teams would love to have right now. You know what I mean? So like take advantage of them a lot better. You have a 6 man in Malik. I think he started this game maybe. I don't remember, but he's come off
Two
the bench.
shots?
Yeah, 2 shots from what I saw. I'll double check again just to make sure I'm not lying.
You guys got to do better than that with Malik. 2 shots, coach?
Yeah, I saw you.
But Malik controls the ball, pretty often. Maybe he was looking to
No, this
pass.
is coach. If this is when you pause the video, you take your notes. 2 shots. That's a little insane. One of the best scorers in this league. I wish
Well,
we could have had a whole season. We could have witnessed it more. But that's a little insane with someone like Malik. Like he is the real MP.
that's a
He
big
plays
title to
like a
have.
my player. Like that's insane. That to me is insane. That's blasphemy.
The best scorer in the league is kind of discrediting a lot of people who,
He said one
are
of the
like
best.
consistently doing it.
At least give him credit for that. But yeah, that's
I'm
a
not even
big title.
downplaying Malik, but Malik hasn't shown it yet here to
Yeah.
say that. That's not fair.
Yeah, that's a big title to have. Remember, GM5, no favoritism, no resumes.
That's
But
cap. That's cap.
That's so cap.
but we're not here to judge, man. We're just here to pod. Game number 3, surprisingly, is the man who created that slogan. Park Legends versus On the Bench was game number 3. Bossman himself was not in attendance. I think Park Legends was missing the head at the helm. They lost this game by 12, 84 to 72. Uh, beginning of the game, first quarter, they led this game 23 to 6. I remember that score vividly because that was a moment I was like, oh damn, they're doing really good. Christian Sari started that game very well. Very talented player. We had Mello on yesterday for our fantasy draft. He joined our fantasy league this year. And we had him on yesterday. We talked some shit, mostly NBA, but we took some time out to talk some GM5 a little bit. Um, and he mentioned that he is very what was the word he used? I think he said surprised, impressed. I think he said impressed. He's very impressed by Christian Sari. He is a very capable shooter. It is his own words, and I 100% agree because at the beginning of that game, Christian Sari looked phenomenal. He had some takes to the basket that were great, finishing over Keith. Keith is a tall player, not easy to finish over. He was getting to his spots in the mid range and shooting. He shot 1 3 in that first quarter and he made it. Then that second half, he got it going from 3. So it's like one thing I said about Christian, and I want to say it now on the pod so the world can hear me, is his game is very smooth. It's very seamless and controlled. He's never forcing a shot. He's never taking a shot that you feel like, oh, why would you take that shot? Now, will he chuck up a shot every once in a while? Of course he will. Every shooter, every player that can get hot will chuck up shots at some point. You know what I mean? And that's okay. That's acceptable. But he does a very good job of minimizing how often he's going to do that. You know what I mean? He does a very good job of making sure he gets into a spot that he's comfortable with and takes his shot. He plays off of screens very well, whether he has the ball or he doesn't. He shoots very well. He finishes very well. I don't think he's shown it too much in the GM5 yet. I don't think he's had too much opportunity, but he is sneaky athletic. He can get a little bounce under him if he has the space for it. Yeah, he is a player that can put it on somebody's head. Don't be surprised. I'm telling you. But I love that game for him when he started off. I love how he kind of changed up his dynamic in the second half and started stretching the floor out. He started making his threes. And I liked what Park Legends was doing, but OTB did not. OTB did not like what Park Legends was doing. So they got a couple timeouts in that first half. They talked it over a couple times. They figured it out, and I forget what term Melo used, but essentially they just started picking away. They started picking away slowly, possession by possession, exactly how basketball is supposed to be played. Doesn't matter what the lead is. Doesn't matter what the deficit, how many shots we're missing. Doesn't matter if our best players are 0 for 5 and our role players aren't contributing. Doesn't matter what's happening. One possession at a time. It's 4 quarters. There's a shot clock. We're always going to get the ball back. One possession at a time. And that's what they did, bro. And I think they finished the first half with a 1 point lead, if not a 1 point deficit, but it was a 1 point game. And man, OTB just showed why they are, the championship favorites right next to NWO. OTB showed why they are the finals favorites, and I'd say that's the grand scheme of what I wanted to say. Did anybody else get a chance to watch this one?
Yeah, so what I noticed is after they had that timeout that you're mentioning, they kind of alternated, which defenders were going to be on Christian. I think that might have kind of thrown him off, given him different looks. So you have Willie initially who's defending him, and Willie does a fantastic job. I think I don't have the stats in front of me. I didn't write it down. I'm almost certain Christian got one shot off that actually went in with Willie defending him in that first half, and then eventually you have Fillmore guarding him. You have Luke guarding him. You have Melo guarding him. Everyone's just taking his turns, and they're defending him completely differently. You have Melo who's playing very up on him. You have Willie who's giving him a little bit of space because he has that length. And I think that's when Christian kind of started to struggle a little bit more. It's so many different defenders, and they're all very capable. I don't think any of the people I named just now are bad defenders. I think that they are all actually good to great. I don't even want to go into who I would think the worst is because I think they're all that good. And I think that's kind of the story of the game. I think once they kind of neutralize, that scoring from Christian, I think everything went kind of downhill. One thing that I really liked in this game, though, is Nick was stepping out to the perimeter a lot more to get his shots up. I love that. I think that gave them a lot more room for cutters, which they weren't cutting, unfortunately. I think that was a great opportunity to do that. You have Keith on the perimeter, nobody's really guarding inside. I don't know why everyone else on the perimeter playing 5 out. That does that make sense to you guys?
I'm
It
not
doesn't
gonna
make
lie.
sense to me.
I'm not gonna lie. This might be one of our first disagreements of the season. I did not like the outstretched shots for Nick, because it gave me Kevin Garnett vibes. It's like just if you're gonna shoot it, just take a step back and make it a three. You know what I mean? But my biggest issue was not really that. It's the fact
He
that he
did.
wasn't really making them. He wasn't making his shots. He was missing his mid range shot very consistently throughout the game. And I feel like, yeah, he was stretching the big outside of the paint, but like, I don't know. It didn't feel like that was the purpose. I felt like he was just kind of trying to prove a point. That's what it felt like to me. Those shots felt like something like he was trying to prove a point. Like, I want to score. I want to show that I'm better than this guy, or I want to show that I still got it. That's the vibe that I got from it. Obviously, the team is gonna look at it differently, and the players are gonna look at it differently. Maybe they had a game plan, maybe they didn't. I'm just telling you from my perspective. The shots didn't look good, the opportunities didn't look good, and I would say the cutting wasn't happening because most players were expecting him to take a shot. I'd say that's why the cutting wasn't happening.
Which is crazy though, because when I watch the game, he's passing out of those possessions very often when he's on the perimeter. He's passing out to somebody else who's just also on the perimeter, expecting to get the ball and create something there. But like I'm talking specifically about his possessions on the perimeter. Inside, I think Keith was a little bit too much at the time. I don't think he can kind of get into position with Keith, and a lot of times the shots were fluky, the shots weren't the best, or he'd end up passing out of it. But on the perimeter, he had to have had. Well, I can't see. I'm guessing he had to have had two threes that he actually made out there, out of like 4 to 5 shots that he took. That's really good for Nick. I don't really see Nick shoot too many threes. I
Uh,
just don't think that the team capitalized off of it. And I bet you if we look at it, I bet you shot less than 10 times.
Yeah, I would say that. Like, one thing I want to say, like, when Park Legends runs Nick or through Nick, it has not worked at all this season. And it's no disrespect to Nick. We all know how good Nick is and was. You know what I'm saying? But
Damn,
I don't.
and was. Oh my god.
I mean, he's not the same player anymore. It's not a diss. People get older. Your game changes. But he's
no,
not
but
the
he got
same
old
player.
10 years ago.
That's on Nas. That's on Nas. I didn't say that shit. Anyways, I don't think like I said, they need to bring that game time offense. They have so many players they can run that with. We've been screaming at it forever. I don't I don't know if it's a TP thing. I haven't asked TP, and I'm not going to do that because we can't assume anymore, and I don't want to assume it. But my perspective, if I was coaching that team, I would give up and give into that really quick, fast basketball. You have Dominique, you have Ish, you have Christian, who would, oh my God, he would benefit from something like that so much. You have all these players that are like willing to run, and you want to run this offense through Nick, which it just doesn't work. It just does. It's not working right now. And I don't know if he's injured, right? Because he is wearing a pretty big brace, so he could be injured. Um, but it's just not looking good right now for them at all.
I don't think that team is built for transition anymore. I think that's the issue. I think that team specifically, Game Time, worked very well because they also had TC and had Aaron Fair there, who
Yeah,
were fantastic in transition.
and
They don't have
defenders
those
too.
players anymore.
I think
And I'm
what's
not going to
crazy.
say like Alton Jones. I'm not going to say Ish. I'm not going to say Heron are bad. But like, I don't know if transitions are game. Ish is not very consistent with his layups so far, and we do have to acknowledge that. That
Yeah,
has not been his game. He has a nice floater. That corner three, we've been seeing him hit that a lot more, but he has been smoking layups.
yeah.
So I don't know if you want to really play in transition that much. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Park Legends definitely struggled to stay locked in that game. I'd say that 100%. And even Melo made a comment that they started feeling very uncomfortable when that 2-3 zone came out, and I think that's when OTB really started to capitalize. And from being down 17 in the first quarter to winning the game by 12, AJ made a comment in the chat. Park Legends is not able to close it out after another big lead or another important lead that they could have capitalized on, right? You talk
Big,
about the game versus the
big.
Vipers. They were up by 12 around the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth, and they weren't able to close that out and come out with that win. With the OTB, you have them in a situation where their backs against the wall. They're up against the ropes, and you weren't able to capitalize. Obviously, they tried to. Obviously, that was the goal for them, but I just mentioned it with the previous recap that we were just talking about. What teams want to accomplish in the regular season to go into the playoffs comfortable is what Park Legends right now is not doing. You get what I mean? Like when you look at teams and you say, okay, well, we want to see can we win close games. We want to see can we keep big leads. Okay, we want to see can we come back from adversity, right? Those things
Yep.
that you're trying to accomplish in the regular season to go into the playoffs with confidence, Park Legends, I don't believe, has been able to do that because they have not been able to maintain leads in important moments of the game. They have not been able to
That's
overcome
big.
adversity, except I'd say the first game where they played Prey, I'd say they probably overcame adversity. But at that point in time, we saw that as a good thing. In hindsight, now that we know what Prey has become over the weeks,
Yeah, I was
you
about to
know,
say we looked at Prey totally different
yeah, exactly.
at that
Now that we
moment.
and remember, I'm the context guy, right? So in hindsight, now that we know what Prey has been a struggling team that can't consistently play well, is that
That's an
game
iffy
as
game now.
is that game as important as it seemed that when we first watched it? You know what I mean? So it's like I think Park Legends is on the opposite end of the spectrum that Vipers are, where Vipers are continuously proving to themselves, right, for that inner morale of we can get this done, we can win big games. I don't know, man. Park Legends is showing to the audience, showing to us that they can't. So they got to figure it out, finish off the season, to go into the playoffs with confidence because it's not enough to just be confident mentally. You have to have evidence of your confidence, right? You can't just be blindly confident. There has to be evidence of your confidence, right? You have to be able to prove we believe we can do this. Okay, when have you ever done it? You know what I mean? Like you can say Russell Westbrook can say I believe I can make this shot, but when have you ever made it before? You know what I mean? And that's the thought process that you have to have. There has to be a hint of realism when you're confident. I do believe that.
Another thing though, we were talking about this game when we were doing the draft. Everyone made it seem like Stuckey didn't have a good game. Is the video just wrong? Am I
No,
bugging? Stuckey
no, I
looked nice as
said
hell.
no. What I said is he started off a little slow. He missed the majority of his first
Shit,
few
he
shots.
started off in that second quarter not missing anymore. I can tell you for sure. He
Yeah,
had three back-to-back threes, and then from there on, it looked nice. It looked nice,
I remember
even
that.
defensively.
I remember it as the second half, but yeah, second quarter sounds about right as well. But yeah, the first quarter, I think he took at least 4 shots. I would say minimum, and he I don't know if he made any of them. So it looked rough, but based on his resume and based on his background, I had no worries about that. Obviously, I had nobody to banter with, unfortunately, so I couldn't really express some of my thoughts throughout the whole game. I could have, it just would have sounded kind of weird, I guess. But
We
in
talk
my
to ourselves all the time. I do.
in my head, it's just I never really was concerned. I don't know him personally, so I can't say it's because of prior experience. But when you do research, he obviously has had success throughout his basketball career. He's played at the college level. He's played overseas. I saw that he's even been in the Ace League, which is high level basketball over there. So I definitely thought he would eventually. I wasn't sure if it was going to be that game. You know what I mean? I wasn't sure if he was going to pick it back up that game, but I anticipated he would at some point during the season. And obviously, he proved me that it was much earlier than I would have anticipated because he picked it up that game. As soon as that, according to you, second quarter started, he picked it right back up. I remember in one quarter he hit like three threes. You know what I mean? And that's when I was like, okay,
It was the second quarter.
yeah,
It was the second quarter.
that's the player OTB side. That's the player I just researched. That the scoring guard that I looked up. That's him. That's him right there. But
They're
OTB,
lucky, bro. That's another great addition.
yeah.
They don't miss. Those motherfuckers, they don't miss. Pink and Bubba, they are 10 for 10 on bullshit.
They don't miss at all on any players.
I'm gonna ask them. I wonder why
God
they
damn.
I wonder why they don't try to get that. I apologize. I don't remember his name, but the Caucasian fellow that they had for 1 week. I wonder
The
why they
one who
don't.
did the breakdown dribble, the 6'7"
Yeah, I
guy.
forget his name.
Oh
Say that
my
again.
god!
Josh Benecker.
Yeah, Josh Benecker. I wonder. I'm gonna ask them. I wonder why they don't attempt to bring him on for the rest of the season. But knowing Pink and Bubba, they
I'm
might.
sad that Damon's out there, though.
Who?
I like Damon. I really did. I like Damon a lot, especially last year in the finals.
I feel like he missed
That's
a lot
that's
of
a sad
games.
moment.
Sorry, I feel like he missed a lot of games.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, considering how stuck he performed in his first game, I'm not sure OTB is gonna miss him too much. But either way, on to the last game of the
You
week.
like that?
City Ballers versus Prey. I have a lot of good things to say about City Ballers. City Ballers delivered the first mercy rule of the day, winning that game by 22. Phil, just like in the past, has wanted to petitioned to continue the game because they wanted to keep scoring. Um, but referee said no. Referees had enough. Prey fell down by 22 points, unfortunately. Very well-rounded game by City Ballers. And I try to, I consider being the contest guy in this one, but I think overall, because of the struggle City Ballers has had, yeah, Prey has struggled along with them throughout the season, but this is a good win to have, I would say. Prey was missing some key pieces in Lou and Jeff, which is unfortunate. Who knows what role that could have played. Pat, you might hate me for this. I don't think you win this game with them. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think you do. I don't think you could have stopped Berto from doing what he did to y'all in that first quarter. I have a I have a highlight pending, which was a second half shot. But that man did a sidestep slash step back fusion that created space where you don't even know where the defender went. I was like, the space he was able to create with that shot,
He was banished to the shadow realm.
and then he just shoots a fadeaway three and just drains it and walks away. And that's what he was doing to them in the first quarter. You know what I mean? Kevin Brulock picked it up. Phil had a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
Millsap played well as well.
Will had a good game.
Who?
Will also had a great game. A great
Will.
shooting game.
Yeah, Will also played well. It was overall a great performance by the City Ballers. And, Pat, you might see it differently, obviously, but I don't know. I don't believe Prey wins this game with Jeff and Lou. I honestly don't. City Ballers had it going. They really did. They played well. We have some news that City Ballers is looking to potentially replace Phil. I believe he's not going to be available for this weekend with Berto again. And there's rumors that there's a player on City Ballers, because it hasn't been announced, I won't be too specific, but there is a player on City Ballers that might be seeing his last week in the GM5 as he might be replaced permanently by Roberto Suarez, which was a piece City Ballers already intended to have because they traded for him. So this was already in their plans. Because of circumstances, it didn't fall through the way they wanted to. They had to replace Roberto Suarez with Kevin Rulock. So now they have to find a way to get Suarez back on the roster. And there's rumors that there's a player on City Ballers that will not make it to the end of the season, unfortunately. And that is for the hopes of keeping Roberto Suarez for the rest of the season. But it was a great game, man. Did you guys get a chance to look at this game or look at the stats?
There was a point in the
Oh,
second quarter, I think it was. Djax like has that offensive foul on Kevin, and then from that point on, Kevin just turns into the Kevin that we know, where he's going bucket for bucket for bucket, and then he opens up that passing game. That's what I've been waiting to see from Kevin. I've been waiting to see Kevin be more aggressive with the shot, and I think this game was it. Berto, bro, I know Berto offensively as this guy. Berto watching this a lot more because I don't notice it when we're actually in the game, but watching the tape back, Berto is very good at playing defense the way that we talk about playing defense, where you're stopping them from getting comfortable and you're stopping them from getting to their spot. Like he's doing the work early so he doesn't have to recover. Berto is like the epitome of that. I'm not gonna say Berto's like the most athletic dude. I'm not gonna say he's the most lengthy, like the best defender in the league. But he's gonna make it hard for you to get to that spot that you're looking for to get that shot off. That's the
Yeah.
type of defense that he's gonna play. I think
Yeah.
I think that's some of the most like enjoyable defense to watch. Trap on the City Ballers also plays defense like that, albeit I'll be honest, Trap is fouling, quite often when he's doing that. It's not getting called though, so it's not a foul, so it doesn't matter. Them two are gonna cause a lot of issues, and I think that they have the roster now. If Berto sticks around, if they have Kevin, if they have Mike, if they have Will coming every week, that is the type of roster where you can live with Phil kind of getting upset every once in a while, or Phil getting a bad call and disagreeing with it, because those other four are going to lock everybody in.
Yeah.
It was also cool to see Danny playing.
Now
Freed my boy Danny.
The thing about the City Ballers now is what is their crutch used to be the majority of their roster, right? It had that crutch, and it's that mental game that they just couldn't overcome, the consistently being upset. Now that group of players who have that mental clutch every once in a while have now become the minority of the team, so they're going to be heard less, right? And I'm not going to name names because I want to stay positive about City Ballers, but when you add I'll name the positive names. When you add a player like Roberto Suarez, who has done everything in his power to get opportunities to play professionally, right? So he's been coached by great coaches. He's been given great advice throughout his basketball tenure so far. He's learned. Will, very poised and controlled point guard. Kevin Rulock, very poised, controlled player. Nick Choi, Kevin Rulock said it himself, is one of the best system players in the GM5. Knows how to play smart, knows how to play his role, be in the right spots at the right time. Now when you have those players out there consistently, Mike Millsap, another player with pro caliber experience, pro caliber basketball mind, they are now the majority. They are now the voice that's going to be heard the loudest because there's more of them than there is of the others, and that's going to help Phil so much because he's going to be able to play through things more consistently. He's going to see everybody else is not having an issue now. Mind you, Kevin likes to jaw at the refs a lot. He thinks everything's a foul. Mind you, Roberto Suarez, he does have some anger issues, but one thing they will always do is play through everything. They may exhibit levels of emotion that, could be contradictory to what I'm saying, but they do play through it, right? So they get back. It's what I said before on the podcast multiple times, and that's what separates NBA players from these casual players, is they complain while they sprint back on defense. You know what I mean? They complain while they're guarding up their man, and on the side of their mouth, they're yelling at the ref who's right there. You know what I mean? But they're guarding up, focus on the next play regardless, and that's what they're going to bring to the table. I think that can make a difference. It's late in the season, so it will be hard to make this work from a chemistry perspective. But just like we did with the Lions, I am curious. I would like to see what the City Ballers looks like for the rest of the season. Let me see.
While you pull that up, let me say something real quick about Prey as well, because I do want to talk about them. They are in such an interesting predicament where I don't know where you really want to go from there. Jaylani, a great addition to the team. His shot has not been falling, and he is not stopping. He hasn't stopped. He hasn't shown any pause there. But you need to play Jaylani a lot because honestly, he is so good at finding people on the court. 3 different possessions, he finds Andrew Groningen, he finds Brandon White, and he finds Andrew Groningen again for easy threes off of offense he created. Man, I don't know. I don't know what you do because I think he's going to keep shooting like this, and it's not working. But when you put the ball in anybody else's hand on that team, it's also not really working.
Wait, can you repeat that first part? Who's shooting? Somebody shooting bad? I missed that part.
Jaylani.
Oh, okay.
Jaylani. Yeah, Jaylani is Jelani's he's a chucker.
He shot
right
well.
now. I'm not
He
gonna
is a
lie.
chucker, 100%. He shot well this game, if I'm not mistaken. Did he not?
The video I'm watching, I don't know. When I watch it, he didn't hit any threes or he didn't hit any of his shots for a little while.
Yeah.
But his passes were fucking pinpoint every single time.
Yeah, he picked it up as the game went on. And Djax had himself a great game. And it was
Yeah.
talked about Djax, if he could play like this at a regular basis, it could be very special for them. I think Djax has that, and I don't mean this from a playstyle perspective. I want to make sure I make that clear. But from a impact perspective, he has a Jalen Brunson with Luka type of impact, where it's like I'm a point guard, but I'm playing a shooting guard role because my point guard has all the skills we need at the point guard position. You know what I mean? So like when you look at somebody like Jaylani, he has the playmaking ability, he has the scoring ability, he has the the floor vision that you would need, and I think has helped Prey a little bit. But Djax, who is naturally a point guard, is now having to play more of an off guard situation. Whereas I feel like his talents are a little better that way because you
Yeah,
know
I agree.
although in the preseason he went on the bench podcast to tell the world he's going to be a playmaker this year. That's just not what Djax is best at. You know what I mean? It's just not. I'm not saying you're a bad playmaker. Those words did not come out of my mouth. But you are a capable scorer. You got size to you. You play with a lot of strength in your game, and you're being guarded by guards, which is always going to be beneficial to you. So, and that's the aspects that remind me of Jalen Brunson, right? And that's why he was successful with Luka, which got him the contract with the Knicks. You know what I mean? Because of what they saw in Dallas and what he was able to do in the playoffs. And I think that's what we saw from Djax this game. So I think that's a dynamic that they want to explore. I know they watch and I know they listen. So I think that's the dynamic they want to explore. And the
Do
three
it. Just do it. When you listen to this, do that. Do it.
and the three guard lineup, it's useful. It's useful, but it is kind of tough. I don't know if I don't know.
It
I don't
gets
know.
harder towards the end of the game when you want to
Yeah.
close possessions down on defense because those rebounds. I will agree with you on that, Nas. And I want to say something. I think that Trey uses that lineup very well and it works in their favor with Jax, Dan Newland, aka Andrew. He
What
looks
the
like
hell?
Dan Newland to me. If you know who Dan Newland is, he looks like him. Anyways, and then you have Jax, which Jax really is the spearhead of that point guard trio on the court. I feel like he has to be the most impactful player in a sense of like he has to be the most physical to show that there is no little like you can't push around just because we have three guards. And I think Jack has to go in there and kind of mix it up on the rebounding and grab some boards. He's so athletic. He's not just muscular. Like a lot of people don't understand, he's super athletic as well. He's really fast. He's really strong. And if he can be more on cutting opportunities, more on back doors, just more pick and rolls, I think he's a way better player than like I said, like than we all think. And he can be like that counter punch for Jaylani, where Jaylani's really just the eyes of the team, and he can get that or that deep bomb three here and there when he feels like it. So I just feel like Jax needs to be put in a better position, but also Jeff Jean, he has to be their center. I think they work better off him. I know Tyler hates it, Nas hate it, but I
He's
think when
never
he
played
plays,
center. He's never played center.
but when he does, when
And
he is
Brandon
a
White had a really good shooting game this game. A really good shooting game.
yeah, I didn't get to watch the whole game, so props to Brandon White. I didn't know that.
Yes.
But
This
regardless,
this was a game I've always wanted from Brandon White. Them to feed him on the perimeter. And I mean they lost a lot, but like he did his role very well.
I think he's shooting better than Jeff Jean this year right now. I think so.
I know.
And I think that's a conversation that needs to happen between them because I think Jeff Jean can really do something off the bench to second tier players on most teams. I think he can be a better scorer than those players and things like that of that nature. And he was doing that last year. I think he was on the second tier of players. He wasn't doing it on the starters. So I think he would really benefit from that.
Center's just a crazy take. I can't. I'm never gonna live that one down. I can't. I can't.
Played center at one point for them. Remember that?
No, Pat misunderstood. I talked to him afterward. There's misunderstanding.
Pat, you need to get on the podcast and prove it.
Listen, I'm lying. I'm putting those words in Pat's mouth. I'm not gonna lie. I know you're talking about this.
Listen, the last
Yeah,
thing.
but they ran a 4 guard lineup at one point as well in that
Yeah,
game, which is
bro, it's
crazy. Which is
crazy. It's
crazy.
crazy, bro. But last thing I'll say about Prey is a lot of missed opportunities for them. And I don't think they've mentally prepared for Jaylani. You know, he's gonna find you. That's what you gotta understand. He's gonna find you. If you're doing what you're supposed to do out there, he will see you, and one way or another, he's going to try his hardest to get that pass there. And it just seems like players are just not ready for it. A lot of botched passes, a lot of botched opportunities. I'm not gonna sit here and act like that was gonna win them the game. Obviously, they lost by 22, but it's been consistent since Jelani has been there. When you pay attention, I could probably call out minimum 3 plays a game since Jelani has been there, where a wide open pass was either not caught because they weren't ready, or the layup wasn't finished because they weren't ready. You know what I mean? So a lot of missed opportunities, and Jelani be complaining about it, so he sees it too. Um, that's the last thing I'll say about that game. We can move
Nice some
on to
pickup.
yeah, we can move on to week 9 though. This Saturday coming up, which will also be our trunk or treat as well. I'll be DMing everybody to see who's going to be in attendance. I know I'm going to be bringing my kids. I got some friends that are going to come up and bring some kids, and
I'll
hopefully
pick
we
up
got
some
some
kids. I'll
trunks.
bring them.
What?
God.
What?
Oh my God. All right, moving on. Hopefully we have a lot of kids. Hopefully we have a lot of trunk participants. You know what I mean? That's really the goal at the end of the day. I know we're gonna try and decorate our trunk, and we're gonna bring some candy to hand out, and we'll make the day. We'll make out of the day whatever we can. Whatever we can make out of the day, we will make it happen. There's gonna be enough kids to have fun with and play games and go out there and enjoy. So, if you guys are watching this, which I know you guys do, you've been super supportive of the podcast. Don't forget to hit us up if you're interested in being one of the trunks. Let us know in advance if you're going to bring your kids so that way we can prep for all the activities correctly, not over get stuff or under buy stuff, you know what I mean? Whatever the case may be. So communicate with us. A lot of you have been reacting and sharing, but you haven't really been vocal as to whether or not you actually will be participating in any way. So that's the next piece of this. When you watch this, please hit us up so we can prepare correctly.
Yeah,
But
and any real quick, Nas, because I want to double down on that. Anybody, any guy who has a child in this league, your kid better be ready for that costume contest. Because if you guys are competitors like you say you are, you're gonna dress your toddler up and get him that tiara.
Because
All
they're gonna
right.
lose to me, a grown man, and you don't want them to lose to a grown man in a costume contest. I'm going in a costume. You're gonna. I'm gonna
I'm thinking
win.
about it
I'm
as
gonna
well. I'm
enter.
thinking about it as well. But yeah,
How
yeah,
are you
yeah,
better? What do you mean thinking
yeah.
about it?
And,
golly.
if you're a player in this league as well, please, like, at least the teams make some trunks, like make it a team thing or something like that. Like, even if it can't be the whole team, at least 3 or 4 of you guys from each team be a representative, and do what you got to do, man. Come on.
For the kids. It's for the kids.
For the
Kids, for the
kids.
kids.
Facts. But moving on to week 9, our trunk or treat week, we have Lions Perception has their first bye of the season. Count Up is going to play Park Legends in their first game. I'd say a lot of decent games here today or this week.
Really good games.
I'm
Count Up,
excited. I'm excited.
Count Up versus Park Legends. Um, I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take Park Legends. They're on a 2-game losing streak. They gotta come ready. TP's coming off his vacation, man. He needs to come back to a win.
Yeah.
TP's coming back. Okay, I'm gonna go count up then.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. You know, listen. I'm going Park Legends. No,
I'm gonna.
we'll go back. I'm
I'm
going
going.
count up. My bad. My bad. I'm going count up.
Yeah, no, I'm going with hometown. I'm going with Count Up. I just think this is a big win for them. I think these teams are similar within it comes to what level they're on. So I think this is like a deeper battle again, like some Lion Dream Chaser type of vibe. I think I can see this game going overtime. I can see this game giving a very, very good game. So I'm going with Count Up
I'm
though.
gonna I'm gonna instigate. I'm gonna instigate teams that Pluto picks Count Up over you. You need to be disrespected because he doesn't pick Count Up every week. He has been capable of saying Count Up is going to lose a game. He has been, which I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for not being blind in your faith, right? But the teams where he picks Count Up, y'all need to feel disrespected because that means deep down inside he knows for a fact y'all trash, and that's what he's saying. So I'm just saying, I'm just saying. I got Park Legends though.
Yeah, bro. Get the game plan out.
Yeah, I wanted to instigate that one. It came to my head. I had to say it out loud. But
Yeah.
yeah, we got 2 for Count Up, 1 for Park Legends. So we'll see. Park Legends, man, you're in my parlay. Make me some money this week. City Ballers versus Dream Chasers. City Ballers, a really good showing last week, in my opinion. I think this could be their second straight win and really good momentum builder for them. I got City Ballers.
I don't expect Kel to really be here anymore. Unfortunately, I think that's a big like part to Dream Chaser. So I'm even without that, I'm going City Ballers.
I think he'll show up.
I'm going City Ballers.
Unanimous, ladies and gentlemen. City Ballers 3-0. Game number 3 is On the Bench versus Prey. I have On the Bench. I think this is an easy one.
Yeah, I think both teams are going to be on the bench in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes remaining. You know what I mean?
OTB all day. I won't go against you no more.
That was a good one. I'm not gonna lie. That was a good one. What was that? Game 3. Game 4 is NWO versus Vipers. Game of the week easily.
Come on.
That's gonna be an
Come
exciting
on.
game.
I'm going Vipers. I'm immediately going Vipers.
NWO, I
They
need
didn't
my
even give you a
jersey.
jersey.
I need my
They
jersey.
didn't give you a jersey. They said, fuck you. They gave me a
You heard,
jersey. though.
Bird? You see how you got to talk to me, Bird?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Also, this is a good kind of segue.
I haven't picked.
You're going NWO. I know you're going.
No,
NWO.
I'm really
I know.
not. I'm actually not. I'm
Go on,
actually
go
not.
on.
Yeah, I said it at the beginning of the season that I think the Vipers are going to be able to take down one of the giants of the league, and I'm gonna put my money on this is the week. I'm gonna put my money on that this is the week that Vipers are going to prove my point, and NWO is gonna get their first loss. And before they take this part and make a snippet out of it, I'm not saying you guys are trash or there any there's no way NWO can win. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying
It's
there's
two premier teams going against each other.
Somebody has
Premier.
to lose. Obviously, Vipers are not the favorite. I get it. I'm saying I think NWO is going to be surprised. I think they're going to be surprised. I hope everybody for Vipers shows up though. I really do. That is a caveat.
That's a big caveat. Also, we don't know if Tommy is going to be on NWO at this point. So, I mean, that kind of quick little caveat into that. Is that something you wanted to talk about earlier, Nas?
Oh yeah, we could definitely mention that. Listen, yeah, that's our predictions for week 9, man. Let's talk about some of the things that are happening in the back end, man. Let's give a little backstory, man. You know, we have a chat. It's called the conference room. It was called the conference room. It's now non-existent. It was a chat for owners, and I believe some team captains were in there, and some other inner circle members of GM5. And it was just a place for everybody to discuss the games and talk through. Referees were in there. Plenty of things were happening. So Pat Triolo shared some information. I won't be specific because sharing this information is what got certain players in trouble. So I'm not going to be specific about the information. But Pat Triolo shared some information. He expressed his confusion with certain things that are happening in the league and why certain aspects or certain calls aren't being made, technical fouls, so on and so forth. He had a long list of things, and it's a safe space for people to address things to the refs, and the refs give their feedback and help us understand better from their perspective why things happen the way that they do. So that's what Pat was trying to do. There was a little bit of a back and forth there. Other people got involved, sharing their 2 cents, blah, blah, blah. But it was meant to be an inner circle type of thing. It was meant for us to, as owners, as the media, as the refs, for everybody to get on the same page and understand why things are the way that they are, and relay that message to the players in a fitting way. That's not what happened though. That information was relayed to the players in a unfitting way. It was leaked fully, verbatim, screenshotted by Tommy Dennis or by somebody and sent to Tommy Dennis. And Tommy Dennis is facing some heat from league ownership and potentially, could get some people in trouble. You know what I mean? It potentially. We don't know where it's gonna go, but the investigations. I'll use the air quotes here. Investigations are being made here to figure out, who could have possibly screenshotted it and sent it to Tommy. Tommy, being the king of all trolls, decided to post that on his story. He also decided to share another story where he read an entire passage written by TP as well. So he's just been trolling since the season started. It's upset some people. And that's why Tyler made his comment. We don't know what's going to happen with that whole ordeal when they do find out how it happened. If they do find out, what is the repercussions for that? What is the league going to do? What I will say is the league is upset. The league is upset that confidential information or a safe space was taken advantage of. And that conference room is non-existent anymore. We no longer have a safe space. Now we have the smaller chats, which we use, which doesn't have everybody in there. So the conversations are shorter, more boring, I'd say. Um, and it's all
Yeah.
because of Tommy.
Yeah.
I'll say it straight up. It's all because of Tommy. Now, I myself have no issues with Tommy. I mean, he's, I, when I learned who Tommy Dennis was, I did everything in my power to never be on Tommy Dennis's bad side. As soon as I realized who this person is, I did everything in my power not to be on his bad side. To the point where, and Tommy, when you watch this, you're not going to know this at all. But I was reluctant to ever even add you to the Serpents because I just don't know what's going to happen if something occurs that you don't like. You know what I mean? I don't know what you're going to put on social media. I don't know what you're going to say to people. I don't know. And there was plenty of times where he didn't get the playing time he believed he deserved. He didn't get the role he thought he earned. And as Tommy typically does, here we go on Instagram stories, ready to tell the world these people don't know how to use me and blah blah blah. I saw those. I saw all those. I just stayed quiet. I just stayed quiet. It's like whatever. Do what you got to do. Do what you want to do. I think GM5 has been doing that for too long, and it may have reached the point where they're fed up. So we'll see where that goes. That's the back end news of the day.
Big.
Yeah, I would.
It's big.
I like I the situation, like what he leaked necessarily wasn't that big of a deal in like the grand scheme of things, like the actual text. But I mean, it's confidential. It's confidential for a reason. Like there's confidentiality in that chat for the owners, and I agree with that. There's some sanctity that should be there. And I reach out to Tommy too, and I'm gonna say the same thing here, bro. Just lock in and finish the season out. Like I know that like you feel slighted in some type of way, or something happened. But bro, there's 5 games left in the season, and then you guys will probably win this. This would have been a really good opportunity to kind of use like the people within GM5 to help you out with your league. This is a really good opportunity to kind of build that out together. I want to see that happen. I shout out Tommy all the time as being like an MVP. I think very highly of him as a player. But bro, just lock in and just finish out the season, and then this league that you're starting can run so well. There's no reason to have like this little animosity here. I want to see you back next season. I want to see you finish out the season. I want to see you in the playoffs. I want to see you for like 7, 8 more games. But
Yeah.
like, this doesn't have to happen, bro. Like, come on, this really does not have to happen. I just want to see you guys play basketball.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I've known Tommy since I've been like 6, 7 years old. So like I've seen the development of Tommy, and I'm so proud of like who he's gradually become. At the end of the day, Tommy's gonna feel the way Tommy's gonna feel, and Tommy's gonna say the things that Tommy says. But it is at the detriment of a league that we feel like is home now, especially to us. We spend a lot of our time there. We spend a lot of time, and we focus this whole season about the GM5, right? We went into this thinking, what can we do? And it's not just hurting them. I mean, you're hurting us now because this is a product that we talk about, and we don't want people to think anything negative about the GM5. We don't think anything negative. I don't think that they're doing anything that's hocus pocus or like that's shady. I mean, I feel like all the players are happy. I feel like the morale is really good in there. But when you add things like this, you're just adding division, and division is never something that is that good comes out of, uh and we're trying to build a community. This is a place where people can come hoop, and the talent level is not as spread out as the Oxley, but is as diverse as the Locks League at times. There's players in here who you can tell just enjoy coming in here and playing basketball and getting their mind off things. I remember one time I was speaking to Bulb. Bulb uses this as a place to get his mind off things. So I know Bulb and Tommy are tight. Maybe Bulb can give him some good advice, on how to handle things like this. But I feel like if you're really trying to get into this space where you're trying to be an owner and you're trying to be respected, this comes with a certain hat that you got to wear, and it comes with a certain type of respect factor that you have to give someone to run a league, because every league owner I've met has been on point, from the Ox League to the Women's Basketball League to the
Not the women's
GM5.
basketball league.
Yeah, especially the Women's Basketball League. Like, shout out to that owner. Like, just in general, like, everybody I've run into, their personalities are kind of the same in a way. Like, they're very mutable people. They're not very loud. They're not very, this is me. This is what I'm doing. So they give a lot to pick up and just a lot to learn, bro. And you know, just don't want to see something that's awesome get tarnished by just how you feel about a situation.
If
My
if
game's
something
like
happens, um, which crossing my fingers that it does not. If something were to happen where Tommy, is deemed, what's the word, unfit for the league, this would be the second member of an NWO roster who has been removed from the season. If you guys remember the ordeal with Bull last year, that was that was some controversy, and he never returned to the GM5 that season. And I was under the impression he was never going to return at all. He seemed like he had a lot of bad blood with GM5, but he's been relatively quiet this season in the chats. I mean, in the games not so much, but that's just who Bulb is. But in the chats he's been relatively quiet. So I mean, I kind of agree to piggyback a little bit on that. Is maybe there's something Bulb kind of realized or came to a realization to just separate himself from the controversy, because he was all over the place. You guys weren't a part of the chats at that point yet, but he was all over the place last year, man. Bulb was everywhere in those chats, just constantly expressing himself, constantly sharing his opinion, and he got suspended for mistreating the environment at Crooms, which is something that the league values and respects, because Crooms allows them to go in there. It's such a good facility, and he got suspended for some of the things he did, and I forget the whole story, but it escalated from there. And next thing you know, just Bulb never came back. Bulb just never came back. I don't know why he did it. I don't know if the league made that happen. I don't know if Bulb made that decision to never come back, but I do know Bulb just never came back. Um, and I don't want it to be Tommy. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be Tommy, but Tommy's the type to go through the same thing. Tommy's the type to go through the same thing. He's going to want to voice his opinion. He's going to want to share what he believes. He's not a man of rules. He's not a man of regulations. It's not for him. He wants freedom. He wants freedom of speech. He wants to choose, freedom of choice. And sometimes it doesn't work out that way. You know what I mean? Sometimes organizations, facilities, establishments, they have the right to do things a certain way. That's just how life is. People have the right, with something that they build from the ground up, to make their own rules, as long as they are
Yeah.
within legal grounds, I guess you could say. You know what I mean? Every building, establishment, business, whatever the case is, organization, they all have their own right to decide what is and what is not allowed. You know what I mean? What we will let go and what we will not let go. And I think
Yep.
sometimes Tommy isn't a fan of that. You know what I mean? And he wants to enforce his ability to say what he wants, do what he wants. And I wonder if Tommy does sometimes see the error in his ways. That's what I'd be curious. Sometimes I wonder if Tommy does see it. And I'm probably going to ask him next time I get a chance. I'm going to ask him as nicely as possible so I don't end up on his Instagram story. And I'm
We're
see.
gonna end up on his Instagram story.
Yeah, probably. But hopefully it works out, man. Hopefully it works out. I agree with Tyler though. The information that was leaked, in my personal opinion, was not that big. I haven't shared that opinion because I don't want to upset anybody. I understand the league is not happy with what's happening, so I haven't shared that opinion. I've kept that to myself up to this point. But I do believe the information that was quote unquote leaked is in no way detrimental to the league. But I respect the wanting to keep that internal. I respect that.
Privacy, yeah.
Yeah, I respect the privacy of wanting to keep that amongst us and everybody who was given the privileges of being in the chat. I respect that, and I would never leak it. You know what I mean? I would and I just did it now. I never shared what that information was. I tried to dance around it as much as I possibly could. Um, and so I respect it. I respect the league's decision 100%, and I understand it. I understand their frustrations. And there's a part of me that understands Tommy's side of it too. I will say that. There is a part of me that understands, Tommy's perspective on this. But I'm not picking sides. I don't. It's for them to figure out, and hopefully it works out. Now, I was gonna say, you guys can make the decision really quick here. We could just wrap up the podcast early. Maybe talk about the Royals on their own segment another time. What do you guys think? I want to just get it out the way now. We're going on an hour and 15 minutes.
I think we only need 15 minutes to talk about the Royals.
All right, let's go. Royals it is then. But yeah, that's the last thing we have on our list of topics for today. Me and Tyler were at the Royals opening night. I believe they call it Warrior Night, if I'm not mistaken. Is their breast cancer awareness opening day that they've been doing with the ABA. This is the second season in a row.
Cool as hell.
It
was really cool to see everybody in there wearing pink.
Yeah.
Shout out Amy. Amy had the full suit on too.
No, facts.
Amy had the full suit on.
Yeah, the players had new pink jerseys as well. It was breast cancer awareness night for them. Fans, even us, the media, players, everybody had pink on. So shout out to them. It was their opening night for the ABA. The ABA season has kicked off, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you tap in. There's some phenomenal ABA teams. We witnessed two of them last Saturday. And it was Polk County Royals versus the Knoxville Commerce. And a very good team, very close game. They had a lead for the majority of that. I'd say 3/4, they were in control. There was moments where the Royals were able to get like a point lead, a 2-point lead, but they just couldn't keep it for longer than 2 possessions. And I'd say, the Commerce, very good team, very phenomenal players. They controlled that game, but man, the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth, them motherfucking Royals turned the Jets on and never looked back. Man, they got hyped. And I said it in the broadcast, don't let them catch momentum. Don't let them get the adrenaline pumping, because when they feel them juices flowing, they don't look back. It's a fast break after fast break. It's a block. It's a dunk. It's a steal. They're going to try and embarrass you now. And I think the Commerce allowed that to happen. I don't have the final score up. I should have updated it, but they won by 20 plus. It was a phenomenal game. Tyler, what are your thoughts? What would you like to share about that game?
I'm going to talk really quick about the Commerce because they're not the hometown team, so we won't really go too much into them. The fact that they showed up so late, they traveled, they had all these issues with their car, they got there almost 3 hours later than the game start, and they still performed so well with only 7 people left. This iteration of the ABA, I remember there was some comments before about the Royals competition was weak. I don't think that's the case anymore. I absolutely do not think so. This team, Seth Battle and Savon Delgado are genuine dogs, bro. Those are some of the best basketball players I've ever seen. And coming out of state, it was so cool to see that. Things got kind of slippy towards the end, though, around the third quarter when Gert Jr. had the double tech with Jeremiah Stitz on the other team on the Royals, and they both got ejected. I think that just kind of completely turned the tides of the game. And like you had mentioned, once the Royals had the opportunity to gain that momentum, they capitalized and they didn't stop. From I would say about 10 minutes into that third quarter and the rest of the game, it was a completely different game than that first half. First half, Royals had 18 fouls. I don't know the exact number, but I'm almost certain in the third quarter they had 3 only. And then in the last quarter, they had about 9. So they cut that back tremendously. They played a lot more control. They played a better brand of basketball. They were looking to pass to each other. The only thing I want differently, and I talked about on the broadcast, Isaiah Moody is a fantastic player, a great player even. The shots that you take around the rim, you are absolutely making it a little bit harder for yourself. I'm going to say that. There's no denying that part. You are a fucking fantastic. I've seen you shoot. I've seen how you handle the ball. I've seen you finish. You're crazy athletic. You can bounce from anywhere. But bro, come on, some of those shots. some of those shots are kind of unrealistic. You gotta admit that.
Yeah, he gets a
We
little
gotta be
too
realistic.
he gets a little too excited, tries to add way too much magic to all his shots for sure. I did want to add some stuff about the Commerce as well because it was a good team. They definitely deserve some shine. And I mean, pretty much the same that you said. I'll kind of just piggyback on it. I think Seth Battle was somebody that caught my attention early in the game, and I think I mentioned it on the broadcast where he was looking like he could be the best player on this team, just based on how he was playing, the energy level that he played with, how he was able to find himself open opportunities by just moving without the ball, being aggressive and physical down low, offensive boards, defensive boards. Cutting to the basket. He did a lot of the hard work for the Commerce, and I think that was a big reason why they were able to maintain a lead for so long. And for the greater part of that first half, I'd say I was under the impression that he would come out of here looking like their best player. But then there was a player wearing a number
Almost.
one in the back of his jersey. Let me tell you, that man can hoop. Delgado, that man can hoop. He was tough, man. He's a very vocal player, so shout out to him. Very
I
good player.
loved it, bro. I loved it.
Yeah, very
Him
vocal
chirping
player.
was so funny.
Yeah, he could shoot, he could finish. Energy level through the roof, man. Phenomenal player. I think Delgado and Battle definitely did their thing out there. And shout out to everybody. I think even Grayson, he knocked down some good threes. I saw a lot of good things from Robert Wilson. Oh, I'm sorry, not Robert Wilson. It was I think it was Innocent. Yeah, the one that I was having
And it's
trouble.
just on Abela.
Yeah, on Yebula. Yeah,
That name, when you guys said that name, I thought you guys were joking and like trying to be funny.
no.
And then I looked at the stuff. I was like, oh, I like that name. It's a pretty dope name.
Yeah, he showed some good things as well. So shout out to Innocent as well. Overall, very good team, and I'd love to see. I'm gonna try and look them up, see if they have the ability to broadcast their games because I would love to see what their full roster looks like. I imagine they have more than 7 players. I hope they do. So I'm gonna tune into them for sure. They found themselves a fan. These are games that I'm gonna try and find and watch throughout their season. But on to the Royals though. Shockingly, I'm surprised you didn't mention it yourself, but man, Markel had himself a good game. Markel Williams, he went out there.
I was gonna come back and talk about more. I wasn't done. I was
Oh
gonna talk
yeah,
about a lot more after.
yeah. He
We're going
played.
back and forth.
Yeah, he played one hell of a game, man. I hate Tyler, man. But yeah, Markel Williams, man, he played a great game, man. I mean, you guys know me. You know my background by now. If you're watching the podcast and you don't know my background, Markel Williams, that's one of my guys. I love that guy. He's been down with the Serpents for a while now, and I love how he plays. He plays so hard. He has so much energy. He's just always trying so hard, and that's the basketball that you need to have out there. You know what I mean? He fits Royals basketball to perfection. He is a Royals basketball player. Like Joe Stubbs, Isaiah Moody, Cyrus Barnes, Tim Bowflex, all those guys that have been wearing that Royals jersey for years now. That personality that they share, like they're one person, bro. Markel just fits right into that because he has that energy, that hype to him all the time, and he started the game playing well, locking in on defense. But Joe Stubbs, I'd say that's the next person I want to shout out. Joe Stubbs did a great job as well. He definitely, I think, was the catalyst of the Royals essentially getting themselves in a position where they can't look back anymore. I think defensively he was locked the fuck in. I think athletically he was just trying to get to that rim every possession he possibly could, man. He played with an energy level that was phenomenal. He's one of the best defenders I've ever seen. I'll tell you that straight up. Out of the players that I've been able to be exposed to, we talk very highly of guys like Bulb, Mello. In my eyes, he's that caliber of a defender. His ability to stay in front of somebody, to be a pest, and to just lock in is phenomenal. Oh,
Bro, there's who's I was gonna talk about him next because he's literally like a light switch. He came in and the energy in that room completely changed. But there was a point, bro, where I thought he was tweaking. He was so locked in defensively. He would not make eye contact with anybody. He was shaking his head, but nobody scored on him for like 6 to 7 straight possessions. And he impacted the ball defensively on every single one of those 7 possessions. It was right at the beginning of the third quarter. If you go back and watch it, he is energy incarnate, bro. Like he is the highest energy player I think I've ever seen. I'm not even gonna lie, and he's controlled with it as well.
Yeah, he is.
That's dope.
He plays
Dope.
great. Cyrus Barnes is another one. Phenomenal scoring threat. Very high release on his shot, man. That's something that you like to see. Gives you that Dom Douglas vibe where he's just releasing it all the way up top, make sure nobody can get to it. Plays really well in that mid range. It was a great showing, man. Tim Bowflex did his thing, man. He was out there doing what he does, hustling and getting those boards. Cutting, attacking on the break with all the guards, which is one of my favorite things about Bowflex. He's running right next to his guards every single fast break. I mean, overall, man, everybody on that team just played great, man. Alex Torre is my favorite Serpent. I mean, Royal. I apologize. Alex Torre is my favorite Royal, man. I'm sorry, Markel, but you're a Serpent, so I don't count you. But Alex Torre, man, he plays above the rim consistently. I love it, man.
He's trying to kill everything every
Man,
time.
he's above the rim
He's not ever
consistently.
trying to.
I love it, bro. I love that. That's how you play, bro. When you're a kid, bro, and you're athletic, like when you're young and you're an athletic player, bro, they tell you dunk everything, try to dunk everything, bro. That
Listen,
that sunk into Alec Torre's head and it never left. He wasn't. He didn't have that many dunks. Maybe he dunked it once or twice, but man, he tried.
no, but he got fouled like 4 times trying
Yeah,
to, which was perfect.
he may have dunked once, maybe twice, but he tried about 57 times. Let me tell you that. He was above the rim, man, and I love it. He's above the rim on the boards. He's above the rim on the layup attempts. He's trying to get up there, man. He's just trying to finish strong. I love it. The Royals do a very good job of scouting and signing talent that fits how they like to play the game. And they're dogs. So they look for dogs, the people that play hard and intense basketball. And I think that's what makes them successful. They were very successful in the ABA last year, and I think they're just going to be even more successful this year.
Yeah. One thing that you said, it's really hard to kind of knock Cyrus off his game from what I noticed. He's a very controlled at getting to his spots, and he has 3 to 4 consistent moves that I saw him using that entire night to get to that elbow. And once he got there, it's it. That's barbecue chicken right there. He's hitting that mid range every single time. The only thing that disappointed me about the Royals, and it goes into their energy, and also another thing, their crowd was insane. I have never seen a crowd that energetic in my life, bro. Never once. That I can't wait to go back again. I hope they have that same level of crowd energy because it was insane. But when it comes to the energy, the Royals were also feeling it as well. And you got to recognize when you've been called for a tech, once, you got to recognize that maybe I shouldn't do that again. Twice, you got called for the same tech. 3 times. I think they got called for a tech 4 times for screaming in a player's face. And I understand, you're high energy and you want to show them. But, bro, you giving up free points every time you do that. 4 times in one night. Come on, man. Like, bring it back
I heard
just a
the player
little
on the
bit.
camera. He goes, "What? I can't yell in his face? I get a technical foul for that? For yelling in someone's face?" And
That
I
was
was like,
That's
"That's a tech."
that's exactly that is exactly what a technical foul is, sir.
It
That
was
is,
Joe and Isaiah, bro. They were too hyped, and they were like, "What? I can't do this." It's like, bro, he's called it 4 times now. Come on, we gotta stop.
They let him slide the first 2 times. The funniest thing
Yeah.
was when I was watching the thing, Nas goes, the referee's showing him that you guys are talking about how the referees are really good referees. And the referee's showing him like where he's got to be on the out of bounds line. So he scoots back. And then when the ref moves his arm, he scoots back forward. I'm like,
It's
what
Joe.
the
It's Joe
fuck?
Stubbs.
Yo, these guys are on crack.
That was Joe Stubbs doing that, bro. That's how he plays defense.
it's
So it's in
funny.
your face.
It's funny because he said to the ref, "I'm nowhere near him, bro." And then as soon as the referee backs up, he just starts jumping up and down, just leaning forward. I was like, "God damn, Joe."
He's like, you gotta say straight up, and he's like, I will. Immediately.
Yeah, they were hyped.
But it
Though.
worked,
They were
bro.
just drunk off the hypeness, which is it worked to their
I was
win.
too. Shit. That crowd gave me secondhand drunk. Whatever it's called. I don't know.
Yeah, out of all the teams that we've played in the FBA, I think the Royals are the team that I feel like always give us consistent competition. And I say that because I mean honestly, the Storm have consistently been able to beat us so far. So that's one thing that I can't give any credit to there because I hate them. But the Royals, it's always been a back to forth. It's always been a back and forth with the Royals, and I love that. You know what I mean? Because we have a lot of guys that have this similar mold where it's like a lot of intensity, a lot of yelling, a lot of consistent, playing hard and trying to, just get it out the mud. And I love the Royals for that, man. They give us some great battles, and that's what their season is gonna be. That's what their season is gonna be. So we encourage you guys to tune in, man. We're gonna make some adjustments for the next live to make sure everything goes much smoother. But shout out to the crowd that we had there. Shout out to the fans that were watching from home, supporting Knoxville, supporting the Royals. It was an extremely entertaining a game to have, and I hope the rest of the season goes like that because I argue that is the funnest game we've ever broadcasted. I'd argue like
I agree.
the interaction with the people in the chat. We had 140 total comments. You know what I mean? Now some of those comments were not directed at us. There was a back and forth going on for a moment there, but
From the Commerce and the Royals, I like that. Shout out Aaron Young. I remember that name vividly.
I'm glad they settled their beef quickly, so they didn't overtake our chat. But it was very exciting, man. A lot of back and forth with in a positive way with the fans watching from home. The crowd was electric. The Royals did their thing, won their first game of the season by 20. It was very fun, man, and I hope everybody tunes in. We're gonna post the schedule on Instagram. Probably gonna post it on YouTube, and so you guys can see it. And I'm actually gonna schedule all the games in advance, so everybody knows when they're gonna happen. I'm gonna do that this week, but I think that's all we got. I'd say a lot of basketball, a lot of fun basketball, exciting basketball. So make sure y'all tapped into our page consistently, man, because you're missing out. GM5, ABA. FBA is about to start. We're going to have some content on that too. It's a lot of exciting basketball happening, man. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap in with us every day. Make sure you like and share with all your Hooper friends and family so they don't miss out, man. Our podcast is
One
done,
thing,
man.
though.
Hoop Talk out.
One thing. Check out all 26 of the advertisers and the partners that the Royals have because they are locked into the community.
Facts.
I can tell you for sure. I've never seen that many people partner with the team. Amy's doing something over there. Amy's doing a lot over there. A lot.
Facts.
Check them out.
Shout out
She's
to the
doing a great
Royals.
job, man. Deuces. Hoop Talk out.
You're